Welcome to Melanin and Manga. I am your girl, Sheethegeek, and these are my worst or disappointing reads of 2025. 2025, I read a lot of books between my Kindle, my graphic novels, my manga, my audiobooks. I hit over 260. And you're going to have some bangers, and then you're going to have books that you do not particularly care for, and that's okay, So I debated whether I was going to make this one or not. Some people feel like, what is the reason? Like, I'm bringing down people, but at the same time, it was my money, my time. So my channel, being a reader, you feel like you want to talk about these books. So yeah, so let's get into the reasons why and the books that I did not like. All right, this is my honorable mention. This is the weirdest book that I read in 2020. It's my own damn fault. Like, I was going through Hoopla, and not Hoopla recommending this crazy ass shit to me. I'm just like, you fell for this one, but okay, like, fuck it, why not, So this was just too much. So the beginning of the book, you meet this girl, I don't even know her name. So she just dropped out of college. She's going back home, and she doesn't really want to stay home because she has like this creepy ass stepbrother, right? Now, I did not know. I don't know when they told us this. There was no background, but I didn't figure out that the Kool-Aid dude was her stepbrother. I thought he was just this creepy ass dude, that happened to be her stepbrother, and she's going to meet the Kool-Aid man down the line. So obviously I wasn't paying attention, but I don't remember them really talking about it. He was just there. There's no background of why he was there. I guess just like on the fucking commercials, we never asked why this Kool-Aid, this fucking gigantic picture of fucking Kool-Aid was just hanging out with these kids. Like, it was that scenario. So anyways, she's coming back, and her brother kind of like just fucking unnerves her at times, because like he's always like making like little innuendos of like he's okay with like sleeping with his sister and shit. He watches like things that have to do with like incest and shit like that. So I was just like, So set it up. The parents go out for a date. Okay, they're in the house. The brother and the sister, the stepbrother and sister, are in the house together, right? And the heater breaks in the house, so it gets really, really cold in the house quickly. So he makes the suggestion that they go into the sauna that the stepfather just made. So she's like, all right, it's too cold to sit in this house, blah, 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 because they don't have fucking blankets or anything, but whatever. So they go out into the sauna. I can't remember if it was a tree or something, but it falls on the door to the sauna. So they're stuck in there together. And things, go down. So he confesses his feelings for his stepsister. He's always admired her. He's always thought she was, good looking and blah, blah, blah. So one thing leads to another. This is where I figure out that he is the Kool-Aid guy. Oh my God, this book was insane. And the fucked up thing is, like, I was listening to this book as I was doing chores, and I just remember just busting up laughing so fucking loud because I was just dumbfounded at how stupid this shit was. And another fucked up thing is that they used a dude that had the most amazing voice for the Kool-Aid man. So sometimes I forgot that it was a picture of Kool-Aid that was doing all this stuff. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. And then like when he would there was parts that he would say, oh yeah, I'm like, I lost it. I literally had to call my best friend and tell her about this fucking insane book. And I know like there was parts because they were trying to keep it from the parents, but she had like red Kool-Aid stains on certain parts of her body. I was done with this book, and it's only like literally like an hour and 15 minutes long. It was ridiculous. Okay, so yeah, that is the weirdest fucking book that I read this year. All right, let's get this shit show started, shall we? So let's start off with some manga that I've read early on. So the first one is a manga that I picked up. We did its debut last year, and that is called The Missing O. I love the premise of this book, okay, but it just wasn't for me, okay. So there was a lot of things about this book that I did not like, and it sucks because I was really wanting to stick with the series, but I'm not going to spend the money on, more BS. So, the beginning, you meet this girl, and she's going to the club to meet up with her friends. She is, she is approached by these two dudes, and they slip something in her drink, and they proceed to try to, leave the club with her while she's under the influence and has no idea what's going on. She is saved by another guy. He comes out, gets rid of the two dudes. What I did not like is that he ended up taking her home himself. What in the Why? Why, writer? Why did you put that in there? Like, knowing damn well she's under the influence. But, okay, so she claims, like, this is the best night of her life, okay? Best sex she's ever had in her life, even though she can't remember the dude. She can't really remember. She can only remember little flashes. What she does remember is that he has a tattoo on his thigh. Okay, now fast forward. She is looking for this guy all over town, and she's sleeping with all types of dudes. I don't care that you're sleeping with everybody, girl. Do you? What I didn't like about is that she was like gaslighting these dudes when all she had to do was be like, hey, were you at the club this one time? Hey, do you have a tattoo right here? You could have saved, because like she would get so fucking mad that these dudes, they weren't him, and they weren't good legs. And I'm all about hurting men's feelings, okay? Love that for you. But it was just like really unnecessary, okay? And then that was basically the premise of the book, And then what I did like is that she had two best friends, and I really loved her best friends. If I was to continue with the story, it would be because of the best friends. She was a good friend, but I didn't like her. I just couldn't like her, even when she was at work, even when she was just being herself. Like, I just didn't care for the main character, okay? She was just too much, okay? Not in a good way. Right? So the next two manga had the same thing going on. These stories were so convoluted. Like, I had no idea what was going on and really did not care to figure it out. So the first one I'm going to talk about is The Love in the Palm of His Hand. I was so super excited about this one. I was like, oh, I saw this one. And I was like, how the hell did I not pick this up sooner? BL, I love sign language. I think it's one of the most coolest fucking things, coolest language out there, okay? Always wanted to learn it, but, my my memory is fucking straight trash, okay? So, and you meet this guy, like I said, have no idea. I'm working with that Clark County Education. I need to know middle, end, beginning, middle, end, okay? Like, boom, boom, boom. This is this person, this is how they met, yada, yada, yada. That wasn't it. It was just all over the place. Like, they just jumped in, And from what I understand, this dude was in the drama class, and like, so he's very fluid with his body language and stuff like that. And the dude that was deaf, they met each other, and like, they have like their own little language type thing. Like, he was able to like express himself through the movements that he learned from being in drama class and stuff like that. That was fine. I can get behind that. Like, the connection, you guys found your own way to communicate and everything like that. Like I said, I was like, what the fuck? What is going on? What is going on? And then the art wasn't consistent. I did not like that. Like, one page you would have really pretty art, and then the next was just like, did you get somebody else to draw this? Okay. And I didn't, I know sometimes like they'll use different art for like flashbacks and stuff like that, but I'm not even too sure if that's what they were trying to attempt to do. Like, and I went online and I was trying to see if I was the only person, but I wasn't. Okay. Same thing for this next one. What is it called? Oh, Monsters and Ghosts. Sorry. I knew it, but look how beautiful this cover is. And I should have known. Tokyo Pop books, love them, but I do not like purchasing Tokyo Pop books. I can read them online, but I saw this one, and because like Tokyo Pop's a hit or miss for me, and I saw this cover. I was like, ooh, Monster Boyfriend. Let's go. Okay. No. Let's put it back on the shelf. No, I had no idea what the fuck was going on. I know that maybe you meet this dude and he has like jagged teeth for some reason. I don't know. And like, he seems like he's like a bully, but he's not. He's really misunderstood. And then I think this ghost latches onto him. I think that's what happens. I don't know. Like I said, totally all over the place. I even thought I had skipped some pages. Like, I bought it and I was reading it and I was like, okay, maybe I'm missing pages. Or maybe this is the second one to the series. I'm not too sure because this is not making any fucking sense. I went online again. I wasn't the only person. I was like, fuck. I really wanted to like this. And especially because the covers, the other ones for the other books, gorgeous. Gorgeous. So, yeah, no, I can't do it. And I'll definitely be giving, because I purchased all 3 of those books, I'll be definitely getting rid of those books. Yeah. All right, last manga. I should have known better. I should have fucking known better. So, Osano, if anybody knows, I really don't care for his fucking work. Okay, I think he finds ways to exploit children and women. I'm just not into him. Not knocking you. I think I'm like 1% of the population that does not like his work. Okay, I read 90% of his work and I was just like, look. Okay, so he hadn't wrote anything for a while. It's been kind of quiet, and then he comes out with this one this year. I mean, in 2025. So I was like, fuck it. He's had time. The premise sounds, pretty cool. And I was like, hell, I'll even go buy it. So at the bookstore, picked it up, okay? Read it, took that shit right back, and got my money back. So the premise of this book is like, it takes place in the future. People can give up their human rights, and they become, just these, not even people. So they live above the law. So they can kill, they can eat, steal, they can do all this shit because they're not really humans. But then again, they're not able to get like benefits of that. So basically like they're homeless or whatever, anything. And then they take on the 2 that you meet. They're like assassins, right? So we're following this dude, very basic man. And he ends up getting mixed up in the middle of these 2, right? These 2 assassins or whatever. The thing about Osano's work is that for me at least, he makes you take his time reading his shit. You just can't breeze through, and it's not like, oh yeah. No, like, you have to look at it, you have to put the things together, you have to look. Sometimes you have to go back and say, oh shit, this happened. Okay, so, but this one was just really messy. It didn't make any sense. I'm not too sure why we were following this boring ass fucking man. Okay, and it's supposed to be like found family type shit. What pissed me off, we were doing okay. What pissed me off is that one of the assassins worked for this dude and he abused children. And I don't care if you brought it up, if that was the main reason why we were trying to get rid of this motherfucker, but you didn't have to show me why. And here we go again. You have this kid, this little girl, and you put her in compromising positions to be. I was just so fucking annoying. And it happened like 25% into the book. So I was just like, ew. And then I just had a bad taste in my mouth after that. So it didn't really matter. I was just like, here you go again, sir. And I'm over him. I'm done with him. Sorry, not sorry. Oh my goodness. I just don't care for him. His art, gorgeous. His art is gorgeous. He does have stories that you will not forget, but he's just not for me. And I'm good. All right, for this next book, I did not hate it. I was just disappointed, okay? And because I was looking forward to this book. It was one of my anticipated reads of last year, and that is Jessica Cage's I accidentally hooked up with the vampire. Now, I absolutely love that Black women are finding their way into this genre, monster boyfriend and big girls getting the man, I'm so into that. And it's crazy because Kimberly Liam came out with her book, and this book came out too, and they have like damn near the same premise, but I could not get behind this one, but I absolutely loved, Kimberly Liam's one. So this book started off with this girl, and she is into art and everything, and she is at an exhibit, and she meets this dude, and his name was Domino. Now, I don't know what name I thought I was going to hear, but when I heard his name, I bust the fuck up laughing. I could not take him serious after that. I don't know what it was. When she described him before we knew his name. So his name did not fit the person, okay? When I think of Domino, I think of this, tall chocolate man, maybe mob, maybe, just very morally gray. And this guy was like the total opposite. So that's fine. That's all good. But it didn't do nothing for me. I wasn't like, ooh, like yum all the way through it. So, and I think it was just because of the name. But I felt like he was just very, I don't know, he was just very basic, So they end up hooking up. She has something interesting with her blood, and it goes on from there. Other vampires are trying to lure her and everything like that. I didn't really feel the chemistry between the two main characters. I really did like the side characters, like her best friends. I love the banter between her and her best friends, and I was feeling it all the way until like 75% into the book, and then it just went all downhill from there. So what I didn't really like is that she tried to connect the first book to this series to this book when I didn't feel like it was necessary. Like, cool, it's in the same like world, but you didn't have to connect these two, because once you did, it was like, this is happening over here, this and that, oh shit, this, that. Like, it wasn't thrilling. It was kind of just like all this shit just thrown in together for the sake of like putting these two books together, and no, it didn't go well. It did not go well, and I was just like, oh, I was so disappointed. But yeah, will I keep continuing with the series? Absolutely. Like I said, I will continue. I will support her, and I really do like her writing. So yeah, I was just really disappointed in this one. But like I said, there were things that I liked about it. Big girl getting the man, her two best friends. I can't wait to hear, like, hopefully one of her friends is the next book, because I feel like it'll be enemies to lovers type shit. That he could pick her up. That gets, 3 stars with me. So, but yeah, no, I'm sorry, I didn't like it, but yeah, I hope that everybody else who wrote it absolutely likes it, and I hope that the next one is a complete banger, because yeah, I still love you, girl. All right, these next two are sports romance type things. I was coming off the high of Heated Rivalry, re-listening to it, watching the show. So I was itching to read something similar. So I thought I was going to get it with these two books. So let's start out. And they both have like the same thing that's missing. They have like the skeleton there, but the outlining of it and the premise of it sounded good, but it wasn't executed very well. So the first one is Crash Test. This one crashed and burned for me. I've never read anything else by this author. I feel like this one may be good for people that didn't read a whole lot of MM, or a lot of like sports romance type shit. So I don't know, both of these two books. So Crash Test. So you meet these two dudes, and one is the F1 driver and one is the F2 driver, and they have been seeing each other for about a year, like heavily, like damn near sleeping at each other's house all the time, damn near living together, knew everything about each other, but they're on the DL, for other people's fucking reasons, because they're worried about their, their job and the people that are around them, like the family and shit like that. So the F2 driver gets in a horrible accident while racing, and he is on life support. And the F1 driver is, fucking crashing out, of course, legit, because he's watching his lover die. The person that he loves possibly can die, and it sucks because, like, nobody knows that they even know each other. They just thought, like, they have the perception of, like, they just casually know each other because they're both into the same thing, and he is going through it all by himself. And then, so some stuff happens, and he ends up getting to be by his side, and it comes out that they have been seeing each other. Now, what I didn't like about it, and the first part of it was cool, and like when they were doing like the flashbacks and stuff like that, and how like they met, and the present, and because you're only seeing it from the F1, because the other guy, of course, he's in coma, so you just get to see his perception. And when we were doing the flashbacks and stuff, like I was like, oh, like, okay, like this other dude's not really into him. He's into him, but he's not like kind of like into him, as much as the F1 driver is. So when he wakes up, it just goes all to shit, and I did not like the way that he treated him when he woke up. Unnecessary. Like, he was so fucking shitty to him, so shitty. Like, the most horrible things that he said to him. And it was crazy because, like, he had seen him a few times when he woke up, and he was hollering for him, and he was screaming for him, and wanted him to comfort him, but then you turn around because you got scared of what other people were going to think, and instead of saying, like, hey, I just got in this horrible ass accident, I gotta put my fucking life back together. I don't think that being together is great right now. Let's maybe, revisit this later on. But no, he totally destroyed his fucking feelings, knowing damn well how he felt about him. And it's fine that you don't feel the same about somebody, but I feel like you have fucking responsibilities with people's feelings, because he could have really easily took that and not been able to recover from that and shit. So I didn't like him. And I know people lash out when they're hurt and when they're going through shit, when they're scared. I totally get it. But he was the type of dude that you could have said, like, hey, just give me a break, But then what I didn't like about it is, like, they were broken up. There was no, like, yearning. There was no reason. You see what I'm saying? And then he kind of came back and was like, my bad. And he accepted that. And for me, I have to like my two main characters, my males, and no, I was like, dude, we can do better, bruh. You need a girl. You need one of those girls, like, in Heat of Rivalry to tell you, nah, bruh, we can do better. But yeah, it wasn't a good time for me. Now, the other one is Garden Park. I hope I'm saying that right. Kind of like the same person. You have rivals to lovers, okay? Enemies to lovers type shit. But it was kind of like, okay, big whoopty. Like, I didn't even realize why they didn't like each other. They both lived in a trailer park. They were both like, trash, and thought they weren't going to ever be anything. And they both were like in motocross and shit like that. And they hated each other for whatever reasons. One of them ends up getting hurt, and the other one helps them out. And then they end up kind of like hanging out, like squashing the shit. But there was no real push and pull between them. With enemies to lovers, you have to have that push and pull and that understanding and that, like, the tug in between them. You see what I'm saying? For it to be executed well. And it was not. And I wasn't even too sure why they even made this fucking book. And they didn't even really, like, focus on the sport at all. Like, they had, like, one race. And I was like, okay, this is why. But I just didn't care for it. And I'm glad that I didn't spend my money on either one of these. I borrowed them. And, yeah, I was just, not impressed whatsoever. This next author, after I listened to this book, I just realized, like, her work is not for me. Okay, this isn't the first book that I've read by her, and I'm just like, yeah, no, girl. And then this nail in the coffin, okay, and that is Mine by Riley Hart. And I think I found out, too, that I'm not too keen on the daddy, dom, sub, kink. That's fine. A lot of people are. All right, we used the word daddy before, but a lot of these books, they just be borderline just fucking icky. Like, okay, so we're gonna get into it. I meet this guy. He's had the same best friend for years, 20-something plus years, okay? And he's always hid from his best friend that he's, like, really into the Dawn sub situation, okay? And he is online talking to other guys, using the apps, using the, meeting up, but he can never find the right person to really connect with and be his sub the way that he wants him to be, okay? So he meets this dude online. We'll just say like Snapchat or IG, and he's talking to this dude, and they end up getting each other's numbers. They've never talked. They've never seen each other. Voice phone, no nothing. Okay, it's just been sexting. Within those texts, they felt like they've really connected. Okay, he's like really feeling him, blah blah blah. He's like, we should meet. So they decide to meet, and guess who it is? It's his son's. It's his best friend's son. Okay, and he's like 20 something, and this man is like 40 something. He's like, hell no, I'm not doing this with you. He was like, my best friend will kill me. This is fucking crazy. Now, she does make it to where she gets out of it to be like it wasn't grooming him. Even though he's seen this guy grow up, birth, toddler, everything. He's been birthdays, holidays, but she was very heavy on like the kid was just background music. Like mostly when you're close to somebody, you always like automatically come aunt, uncle, whatever, cousin, something, play cousin, something like that. But she made it heavily known that he had no relationship with him as he was growing up until this isolated situation. And he was like, hell no. And it was the son that was actually like, no, I'm grown. You weren't grooming me. Even though you watched me grow up and all this bullshit, you didn't groom me. This is what I want. I've been looking for somebody like you, a partner like you all my life. So they end up being together. Then they have to come out because, of course, they want to make it more official. And, man, I can see how the best friend, the father, like, tripped the fuck out. Because I'm going to tell you what. If my best friend talking about she's with my son, I'm putting fucking hands on her, okay? It was just overall ick. And I would have been rooting for them if I felt the chemistry between them, and it wasn't there. It wasn't there. I just was not feeling it. And they knew each other, but didn't know each other. And it was just for the sex, and I didn't feel like it was worth fucking up, his friendship for it, like, you gotta have that. You gotta have that passion. You gotta be like, oh, I'm rooting for you. Like, yeah, this is fucked up, but like, I'm really rooting for you guys. Like, and I did not feel that. So I think this will be the last Riley Hart book that I get. She's for a lot of people. She's very big in the community. So, but yeah, that's just wasn't for me. Just all the icks. Ooh. Last cringy book and of that I got into. And that is Alphabet. This is a series, and the first book is called 3 Werewolves for Dylan. Okay, this is a Alpha Omega type thing, mates and stuff like that. Now, this book was 21 hours long. For what? I have no fucking clue. Okay, but I was like, oh hell yeah, we're gonna get like world building, we're gonna get like a whole ass story, we're gonna go on a fucking adventure, like we gonna fall in love, instant mates. I am for the shit, okay? Like, I love werewolves, I love fated mates, I love things like that. So, and they were guys too, so I thought I was gonna have a great time, but no, this was so fucking cringy. Okay, this book could have been 10 hours long, 6 hours long, and still got it. Like 80% of the book, they were just fucking. That was it. Like something with little chunk. Oh, they went to the fucking cafe. Now they're fucking. Oh, they went here. Oh, now they're fucking. Oh, he went to the next room. Now they're fucking. Like, what? What? Okay. Like that. I love the smut, but I want for what you try to do. Like, it was just fucking unnecessary. So you meet this guy, Dylan, and he's like a college student. Just trying to get by. He has no money. He has no insurance, but he ends up finding this free clinic. And he goes in to have like a little minor procedure done, and he meets the doctor. Doctor's hot as fuck, right? And he's just like, they feel some kind of like chemistry, so they're like kind of like flirting with each other, and then they end up like hooking up in the office. Now, whatever. But the way that they hooked up, and this alpha was really into like his men being clean, so you can kind of figure out what he did to him. So I was like, Oh, okay. Okay, I've never really read anything like this, but all right, all right. If you like it, that's cool. But I'm just gonna, maybe this is it, you know? He was hella aggressive with them too. And I was just like, okay. So that happened. And then the doctor already had a mate. And he goes home and he's like, hey, I think I found us, you know, another mate. And I'm just obsessed with him and da da da. And then they both end up meeting him. Man, they never gave this man a fucking break. These alphas were so aggressive with this dude, with this human. Oh my god! Like every other page, they were going at it, and some of the things that they were into. Like I know that they're werewolves, but I'm not into you putting his head in your armpits after you done worked out, and he licked his armpits. So like, what in the fuck is going on? And there was just like no fucking plot whatsoever. The only plot that the only one that I was interested in was the cop, the third werewolf that came in. He was from Alaska. He left his pack. His daddy was pissed off about it, but he wanted to kind of live his own life. And then he ends up meeting the two alphas in Dylan and feels a connection between them. That's the only one that I was really like, let's do something with them, you know, and them all being alphas and how they were all trying to like make it work. But like I said, 80% of this book was pure smut. Pure fucking smut. Like, if you took out the smut, you wouldn't have had anything, you know? So that's not what I was looking for. And especially when I saw the time and had this notion in my head that this is what I was getting and that's what we should have got, but it wasn't. It was very fucking cringy. Like, and I've read and listened to a lot of like Omega books and some of them, but these alphas were they were aggressive. Like, I was just like, oh my god, this poor boy. So yeah, no, you know. So this next MM book was a big disappointment. I was looking for Rex, and you know how you look on Book Talk, or you know, you look on Instagram, or even like Pinterest, and 9 times out of 10 this book would pop up in recommended reads. And I went on Goodreads, I looked at some reviews, everybody was like praising this book, and after reading it, I'm not too sure why. So, and that is The Tragedy of Felix and Jake. Now this book seemed very immature for a heavy topic. Okay, so this dealt with two dudes that were battling addiction and heavily got involved with each other very quickly. So you meet Jake first, and Jake has a cocaine problem, and then he ends up getting clean. So he's clean for like 7 years, and he ends up in the army, and everything's going good, you know. But then his girlfriend, or his fiance at the time, ends up cheating on him with his roommate, and Jake crashes out, valid, you know. So, but it totally fucks up his life, you know. He ends up, you know, relapsing, getting kicked out of the service, everything like that. So he has to move back home, which he doesn't really want to, because, you know, that's like his old stomping grounds as far as like getting high and everything, but he really doesn't have a choice. Now, Jake was not my favorite character, but anyway, so he goes to the meetings, and he ends up meeting this dude named Felix, and it's like an instant connection. Like, what I did not like about it too is that they try to pull off that forbidden love type shit when it wasn't even that. So they were supposed to they wanted to sponsor each other, but it was frowned upon. It wasn't forbidden, you know, but it was heavily frowned upon for good reasons. Now, when he meets Felix is just, I think, a year into his sobriety, right? And like I said, this instant attraction, but I wouldn't call it love. I just felt like they were trying to find something else to be obsessed with besides drugs, you know? And the characters at times were so fucking immature, and I kept like, every time I was listening to it, I was like, these are grown ass men. Like, it'd have made more sense if they were 18, 19, even 20 years old, the way that they were acting, you know? So I don't know. Jake was not a very likable person. He was very selfish. It was always about me, or Felix. Like, it was never about the people that were surrounding him, that were taking care of him, that were helping him get on his feet. He always seemed like fucking annoyed when other people besides Felix was talking to him, you know? And he had a good support system. The only person that I truly liked was like his friends, that kept being his friends for whatever fucking reason, and his brother. And I felt for his brother at times because I've been his brother, you know? And there was, I don't know if it was just, no, it was just poorly written. Just very, very immature. And I was triggered at certain parts because I felt like I was his brother, you know, like you had somebody that's dealing with addiction and you want to be there for them, but you're also tired of the bullshit, you know. So I don't know, just not for me. And all the shit that was happening within these couple of weeks that they knew each other was insane, fucking insane. You know, Felix, he was such a sweet kid, but he just the mentality that he had, and like there was times that I could relate to him because like he would like crash out in his head, like, you know, he would overthink stuff, or like, you know, he had low self-esteem and stuff like that, and I can relate to things like that. But other than that, I could not like these two. I didn't like the way that it was approached. I didn't like the way that it came together, you know. It's just like, you know, and for you to spit that forbidden, you know, trope to me, I was just like, no. But the ending was cool. If anything, that was cool, the way that it all wrapped up. But other than that, I didn't have a good time. I was annoyed half the time. When Jake was talking, I was just like rolling my eyes like, dude, you were so fucking annoying. I was over him. But yeah, no, not for me. Now, finally, for the book that I absolutely fucking hated in 2026. Oh my god. Man, I was so fucking disappointed. It's my fault. I should have known, because it was attached to another story that I absolutely fucking hated, okay? So, but I was very optimistic because of the way that it was portrayed, okay? So, and I am talking about Nyla K's Trouble, okay? Now, Book Talk has failed me time and time again, but I do not forgive you guys for this shit, okay? So, you know, you see little little reviews like this and like this. You read the back of the book, you know, the synopsis for it, like, sounds great, right? We're getting, you know, Grumpy Sunshine, forbidden romance as an aspect is like him being, you know, a pastor, being married, things like that, you know. I'm thinking, oh, and I looked it up. This book was 600 pages, 20 plus fucking hours. I thought we were going to have a great time. Like, yes, we were in for a great time. No, the shit was so misleading. It was a complete shit show. A complete shit show. And I'll never forgive her for this shit, okay? So, Nyla K, if you ever read any of her books, she is known for taboo stuff, okay? For the fans, she did the Step Brothers, you know, together. It was hot, okay? So, and then her other one that she did that I completely fucking hated was Push and Pull. Now, this is, like I said, this book is attached to the series, but it sounds way better than what we actually got, okay? So, spoilers. I'm spoiling shit out of this book. Triggers, because I was taken back, okay? And like I said, I looked at people's reviews and stuff, and 5 stars, 4 stars, and oh my god, I love them. I couldn't get enough of them. And yeah, okay, cool. So, okay, but anyways, so first we meet Tate. Okay, so Tate is very well off. He's got money. He's got the looks. You know, he's just a playboy. Like, everybody around him settled down, but he doesn't believe in love. He doesn't want to go through that because when he was in college, he fell in love with his friend, his best friend at that time, Lance, okay? And Lance was a straight man, you know, and yeah, so they ended up hooking up, and Lance ghosted him the day after, okay? So when we meet Tate, he is living it up, living his best life, and he's actually going to Pride, okay? So he actually runs into Lance at Pride, in a very crazy ass way. Okay, so and it's a shock because, like I said, like it said that he is a pastor, he is married to a woman. Like, what is he doing at Pride? You know, hooking up with randoms. You know, so it's a very big shock for both of them. Okay, and it opens up a fucking can of worms. Okay, so they end up having this full blown affair. Now, Lance, being the pastor, being straight, his father has always, like, his dad is a pastor too, very high in the, you know, high up in the community and everything like that. He fucking hated Tate from the beginning for the reasons unknown yet. Okay, and he always wanted him to stay away from Tate. Okay, he just thought he was a bad influence and all this, and Lance always thought, like, I don't know what your fucking problem is with him, but whatever, you know. So him seeing Tate opened up, you know, all these feelings and all this stuff. So he pursues him. He goes full force, going to get Tate. Now, I understand that all stories are not going to be sunshine and fucking rainbows. You know, there's going to be some messy ass parts. But if it's done right, I could see, you know, and this whole time you were thinking, like, with 600 pages, 20 plus hours of listening, that she was going to build us up and these two together, even though it came about in a fucked up way, that they were having an affair and stuff, that the way she was going to lay it out, they were going to be endgame. Like, we were rooting for them the whole time, and we were upset that they, you know, they had to go about things the way they were and to understand. But it was not. It was not. It was so superficial, so surfacey with their love. Okay, all I saw was just two fucking men that just couldn't stay away from each other because they were attracted to each other. There was no love. There was no build up. There was no nothing. There wasn't the pining. There wasn't the yearning. Okay, because every time that they were together, all they were doing was fucking. That was it. They would have like an argument, you know, because of fact, you know, because Tate, even though he slept around, he didn't sleep with married men, even though at least he didn't. He wasn't aware of it. But, you know, so that was totally messing with him. So they would argue, they would fuck, and then they break up. Repeat. Rinse and repeat, you know? And in that time, oh my God, like, the writing was so fucking terrible, okay? Like, I have no idea how many times. I am all for nicknames, okay? But she used the nickname so fucking obsessively. Trouble. I get it, bitch, okay? He's trouble. All right? But you don't have to say it 19 fucking times in one chapter. I almost DNF'd it right there, like 30% into the book. But I was just like, okay, maybe they'll get better. But, like, oh my God, like, their interactions with each other was just so surfacey. Like, I could not understand, like, why these two could not stay away from each other. And it was crazy because she led you to believe that they were supposed to be together. All these chapters, she's trying to convince you that they're supposed to be together. She's trying to convince you that it's the only reason why they're not together is because he's a pastor and he's married and he's supposed to be straight, when in reality, it does not set you up with, and it does not justify what the fuck she put in there later on down the road. Okay, so, you know, we have these two pushing and pulling and being together. You know, Tate is like really fucked up, you know, from it, because he really does care about him. He loves him, and Lance is just fucking obsessed with him, you know, for not, for lack of a better word, he's just fucking obsessed. He goes hard. He forgets about everything else, like his responsibilities, everything, work, his wife, everything. And his whole thing is just consumed with Tate, you know. So we finally get what the fuck is really the big picture, okay? So all the while that they were messing with each other, Lance is telling Tate, oh, you can't, please don't leave me, even when I tell you the truth, like, why, you know, I ghosted you all that time ago. Please don't leave me, blah, blah, blah. I'm so in love with you, yada, 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 you know? So nothing can prepare me for what the fuck the direction that this girl went into. I was just like, are you fucking kidding me? Right now, are you fucking kidding me? I remember I was rearranging this room, and I was listening to this book, and things are going on, kind of revealing itself. But when it revealed itself, I was like, wait a minute, did I hear that right? I have to go back. Because I did not hear this fucking right. No, this woman did not do this. Oh my God, it was already a shit show. But here we go, like Jerry Springer shit. Okay, so Lance, bruh. So he, like I said, his daddy did not want him around Tate. Okay, so it jumps back. So while they were in college, the night before they had slept together, Lance had found something out about his daddy and about why. So he ends up following his dad, right? And his dad, because his dad lied and said, oh, I'm going to go fishing or some shit. I can't even remember. But he was like, oh, Freya, could you not? Could you not? Thank you. So he ends up following his dad. And his dad ends up going to the storage, and he waits for his dad to leave, and he breaks into his dad's storage. And little does he find, lo and behold, he finds like pictures of Tate as he was like little, like achievements, like honor roll cards, all kinds of shit that he should not have. And he's like, what the fuck? Why does he have so many pictures of Tate growing up through the years and shit like that? Found a birth certificate, found all this shit. Come to find out, Tate is his daddy's child. And he's been fucking his half brother. What? So not only did you find out that was your half brother, that your daddy was lying this whole time, that's the reason why he didn't want you around him, okay? Not only did you do it, you was so infatuated with him at first, gave in, then didn't tell him. Years later, when you run into him, you still fuck him. You still don't tell him the truth. You still, like, berate him and, like, fucking mind fuck him. And I was just fucking disgusted. I was like, are you serious, bro? You're a nasty motherfucker! Are you serious? You're gassing him for you staying with your half brother? What? So Tate, he ends up telling Tate all this, and he's fucking shocked. He is shocked, living everything that you would have felt. So he takes off and he goes to his stupid ass friends, okay, and tries to make sense of all this stuff Tate does. And I should have known that his friends were going to be on some fuck shit because they own some fuck shit. Okay? And if you read the first book, you would understand. So they were kind of like, oh, well, I mean, you were already with them. So, the damage is already done. You might as well be with them because, you love him. Well, what? Like my friend had told me that. Bitch, we jumping him. Okay? We gonna fucking find a way to bury his ass. Like, how sick is that? How fucking sick is that? That you were making it seem like it was something minor, but it was something way bigger than that. And then you did not tell me, and you put my life and my heart and my mind and shit in jeopardy. Like, ugh. Okay, so he goes to his mom, and Tate goes to his mom, and she confirms all this. She's like, yeah, like, your daddy left us for, another woman, and yeah, that sums it up. Like, and I was like, what? And you fucking knew that they were friends. You knew that this boy was pining over his fucking. Okay, so anyways, and what pissed me off to the highest level of precipitation, okay, was that the mom was kind of like, same thing. Oh, honey, you guys already slept with each other. You might as well be together, like, love is love. The fuck it is, bitch. The fuck it is. Are you serious? And she was more about the revenge because she was hurt that, Tate's daddy done left her high and dry to, raise Tate by herself and shit. I was like, bitch, no. And that's what made me mad, is that she was like, love is love. Like, that's the whole thing about it. No. Queer folks really use that because, of real serious shit. but then you do this perverted shit and try to like pass it off as something that's okay. Just like other people try to put certain individuals under the same banner, as the same umbrella as queer folks. And no, that is not okay. And that's very fucking hurtful. And I was fucking livid when I read that part. I'm like, what fucking mother would really do that? I would have told my son, holy shit, like, this got out of control, but it's gonna be okay. Like, we're gonna move past this. Like, what the fuck? Like, I would have put hands on that motherfucker for put my son through that. Like, are you serious? But no, that's not the fucking way we went. Okay, so everything's just starting to unravel. Okay, meanwhile, Lance is like, him and his wife. So you find out, him and his wife have been together since college, okay? And they have not been doing good and all this stuff. So one night, some really crazy shit goes down. And he basically tells his wife, like, I do not want to be with you. I'm in love with him. I do not want to do this anymore. Like, we're living a fucking lie, And she was harboring her own fucking lies. And come to find out, everybody around them was fucking lying. Everybody had a fucking secret and was not sharing it with them. Like, this is the worst fucking miscommunication and like I have ever fucking witnessed, okay, had been through. So come to find out, the girl pursued Lance in college because Lance's daddy fucking propositioned her, basically was like, hey, you keep my son away from Tate, marry him, do whatever you need to do, get pregnant, whatever, and I'll put you through college. And this bitch signed up for it. Even though they really did not, she didn't feel him, knew kind of like, but she still went along with it. And like resented him and all this shit. Like, what kind of bullshit is that? Then his mama knew, he knew, no, everybody was just fucking shitty. Just all around fucking shitty. Like, are you serious? So Lance was like, I don't care. I'm going to still be with him. I'm going to make him be with me. Bruh, if you don't sit the fuck down. Like I said, there was never a time that I was like, oh, they are meant to be together, but fuck, this, maybe, this could be like some Game of Thrones shit. Like, never once. You guys are both fucking shitty. Especially you, Lance. Fuck you. But, so he goes to go confront his dad about what he found out and stuff like that, and embarrass him in front of everybody in the church and everything in that community and stuff, which is valid, okay? Because your daddy deserved the bullshit, because he was just ill. He was just thinking about himself and all his fucking craziness and all his fucking decisions, and then totally fucked up these two individuals' lives, right? So he's going to tell his daddy, oh, I'm still going to be with him, and here comes fucking Tate with the same bullshit. And come to find out, when everything was surfaced, they really weren't brothers. But it was the simple fact that they were still going to be together, even though they thought they were brothers. Yuck. Okay, so come to find out, Tate's mom and dad, that's really his son, but he had left her for another woman. And Lance's real dad had died in a car accident, but he was passing him off as his real son because he was an infant. So they just ran with it, and he totally ditched Tate and his mom for whatever fucking reason, right? And put on this whole show that, like he really was in love with that woman, when he met her and started knowing her and all that stuff. So that's the fucked up thing. And, the mom just let this happen. The mom just let it happen instead of telling her son the truth. She rather had looked good in front of the fucking church and stuff like that and tear her fucking son apart, his life apart. Like, bitch, you need your ass whooped, okay? Oh my God. I was so just disgusted with the whole thing. So they find out they're not brothers, but they end up being together. And why? Why in God's name did she feel the need to write a scene that they were role playing, that they were brothers? What the fuck? It was like, it reminded me of the part in Joe Dirt when he, they were together and she's all like, do you not like me because I'm not your sister? Like, I'm your sister. Like, oh God. if she had said, this is some Jerry Springer shit, I could have swallowed this pill, okay? I would have known exactly what I was in for. But you made it seem like 20 hours, 600 pages. We were rooting for them. They were going to be fucking in game. Like, we were going to go through some really emotional shit. But not in this fucking way. I was pissed. I was so pissed. I was just like, this is ridiculous. And this is what you want to be known for? And people were giving this fucking book 5 stars. And I was thinking, like, what was 20 hours? What was 600 pages that could not be told in 250 pages? What? Bitch, girl. Look, it's fine. It's fine that you want to be known for taboo stuff, but this is trash. I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry. This was fucking ridiculous, okay? Like, and you're just, like, glorifying, like, you know, trying to romance, like, incest. Like, look, I'm into some weird shit, okay? I promise you. You know, tentacles are my thing. I get it. But this, I could not wrap my fucking head around. Like, and if I had known that it was going to be like this, I never even saw one thing that had said this. Like, spoilers, like, this is what you're getting. And like I said, the repetitiveness of a lot of the chapters that they were together, it's very fucking surfacey. Like I said, anytime that they were together, they were just fucking. That was it. There was no yearning, no pining, no nothing for me to love these characters. Everybody was fucking shitty. Everybody was shitty. Everybody needed their ass whooped. It was just all around fucking bad. I was just like, okay, this goes right into the same, you know, box of Goodnight Poon Poon, you know, Jinx, you know, you put Push in there, you could put, all, like, just throw it all in there, fucking throw it out into the sea where nobody could read, like, ooh, fuck this book. And that is it. Oh my goodness, yeah. Like I said, you're gonna have some crazy ass stories, some fucking ones that let you down, and that's okay. You know, that's a part of like reading and the experience and everything like that. So definitely, I've read some fucked up books lately. Okay, but it's gonna be good. 2026 is gonna be better. I have a bunch of books, and next time you see me, I'm definitely gonna be talking about my favorite reads, because I did have a whole bunch of books that hit me all in the fucking feels. So I just thought I'd get this one out the way first, and then we'll get to the good stuff. So I'll see you in my next video, okay?